What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Riley. Thanks for joining me. This week, because we find ourselves in the middle of baby season and hatching season, I figured I would give you all some advice on how to safely and effectively, wisely get your first carpet python for those of you out there who are in the market to finally jump into Morelia. So hang out with me today and let's go into this. First of all, when talking about getting into carpet pythons, understand that they are very versatile, very diverse, hardy snakes. So you can keep them in a variety of different style of enclosures. They come in a variety of different colors and subspecies and morphs. So there's a lot of options out there. Whether you want to do naturalistic setups like I've got my Strophoris over here, or if you want to raise them up in a more sterile rack system way for a little bit, like breeders like myself do, and grow them up into something and then eventually work them over into something a little bit bigger, like a nice glass front. Doesn't matter how you choose to do it. They are very tough snakes. They are very, what we like to say, very good, forgot the term. They're very hardy snakes, very easy to keep, can be kept in many ways. So first off, have a game plan. How do you want to keep them, and have something ready to go, whether it be a little baby enclosure if you plan on getting a little guy, or a small exoterra or some like enclosure getting ready. Whatever you choose, just have it ready to go ahead of time, so when you get that snake, you can bring it right in, it can settle in, and you can leave it alone. Sometimes the best way to set up a new snake is to set it up how the breeder or individual who you're purchasing it from had it first, and then transition it into whatever style of keeping you may choose. So just some food for thought, but first point I always like to make sure everybody knows is you can set them up how you want, just make sure you have it ready to go ahead of time and dialed in with the proper temperature gradient, and it's ready for the appropriate size animal you intend on getting. Alright, so once you've got your enclosure set up, you kind of know what you're doing. From that aspect, you next need to figure out what you're going to grab. There's a lot of different phenotypes to carpet pythons, a lot of different subspecies, morphs, things like that. There's beautiful jungles, there's all sorts of popwin carpets, tons of different animals out there. So it can be overwhelming, but definitely do some digging around. There's a lot of great websites, a lot of great YouTube videos, wonderful Instagram accounts, things like that that you can follow and really learn a lot about these wonderful snakes and see some great examples, great photographs. I don't have to tell you how to dig through the internet, you can figure that out. But there are a lot of beautiful carpet pythons out there, so narrow it down, figure out what you want to start with. That'll be your second objective. So once you picked your couple of animals of top 3 choice, I would say, so you can be prepared to find out what is and isn't realistic, available, or in your price range. Something like this Axanthic tiger here I produced last year. Probably one of the only people producing these right now. You can find some, but you know, you got to know kind of the availability. Once you kind of have your top 3 list to make sure you find something you like, it's time to track down a source or a breeder. Now that can be really difficult. There's a lot of different ways to find breeders, and there's a lot of uncertainty in that realm, who to trust, who not to trust, things like that, right? Especially if you're not in that community. So Facebook can be a great place to start. There's Morelia Pick of the Week. There's a great, couple Facebook groups there that are focused on these guys. You can go on Morph Market and see what's available and sort of pay attention to the different vendors selling and look them up as well. There's a lot of people popping on there daily. There's about 200 plus or so carpet pythons right now on Morph Market. So you can really just start there and dig around and kind of look into different breeders and shops and things. What I would say is, if you want to get the most information about the animal that you are intending to purchase, buy from a breeder directly that produced that animal. Not that buying from shops are bad, nothing against them. You just really don't get the same amount of information, help, support on the back end in the long run, and definitely don't have the same peace of mind in that, you know, the information you're getting is accurate. So my personal preference and suggestion would be to buy from a breeder directly, but no slight to shops, because where do you think the shops get some of their animals, right? So for carpet pythons, things are a little more unique. If you want something specific and you kind of want it of good quality, you're definitely going to want to go to the breeders for those. So fourth point, find a good breeder, do some homework on them, and make sure you choose wisely. Now you found your animal of choice from a good breeder that is reputable and people can vouch for and seems very active in the community, has good quality animals, seems to be somebody you can communicate with. You just pull the trigger. Just rip that band-aid off. Either meet them in person if they're local to you, or get them shipped to you, whatever you gotta do. Definitely quarantine any new animals. Any good reputable breeder will tell you that. Just quarantine them, isolate them. You know, everybody does it a little bit different, but a couple months is always good practice. Keep an eye out for external parasites, odd defecations, and in that time you can do a lot of various testing for whatever you're concerned about. And that's kind of how you do it. But I definitely recommend doing a lot of research on the front end, excuse me. Make sure you're set and prepped, ready to go. Have an enclosure ready to go. Quarantine or isolation. If it's your only reptile, then it's got to be quarantined no matter what. If it's your first carpet python but not your first reptile, definitely isolate it from the rest of your collection until you know everybody's healthy and clean, and you can enjoy your animal. They're wonderful feeders. Make sure you talk to the breeder, find out exactly what they were feeding on, how they had them set up, and quite often they'll adjust and take off. Can't tell you how many babies I've sent to folks that adjust to new surroundings without missing a beat. They just settle in regardless of what they're set up in from day one. Some eat right away, some eat, you know, a week later when offered. They're some of the most easy to transition snakes 9 times out of 10. So those are my tips on how to avoid having a bad, I guess, first purchase. There's definitely a lot of things that can go wrong when acquiring a snake. So, yep. So big shout out to all the breeders. Big shout out to my sponsors, Heli Guy Serpents, Reptiles Express. You guys are the lifeblood of this channel. Much love to all my patrons. If you guys want to get in on exclusive access to babies and discounts and things, sign up for Patreon, and don't forget to join USARK and give USARK Florida some love as well. And with that, catch you guys all next time. Once again, thank you for supporting the channel. Appreciate everyone for hanging out, helping this grow, and catch y'all next week. Later.